Hello, this is my public service announcement. I'm doing a movie review over the movie Brothers. My topic for my PSA is Veterans PTSD. My dad served 20 years and he has PTSD. He had 2 TBIs, so he's like 100% disabled. So this topic seemed more up to my speed because I live with it in my current life. But I also think war movies are really dramatic. So I did the movie Brothers. It came out in 2009, starring Tobey Maguire and Jake Gyllenhaal. In the movie's plot is a pair of brothers, Tommy and Sam. Tommy was an ex-con that was let out of prison, and Sam joined the Marines. And Sam goes to war and then gets lost, but the army tells, or the Marines tell his wife and his kids that he's dead. So his brother gets out of prison and assumes, like, I'm going to take care of my brother's family, his wife and his kids, because he's presumably dead. In the movie, he ends up coming back. So all of a sudden he's alive and his children and his wife have moved on. And you get this real surreal feel, I guess, for me growing up. Like, I wasn't really close with my dad. He was deployed in and out. And this movie depicts that, like, edgy, can't reconform with your family. Because usually you're around your family, every day as a normal person. As a veteran, it's like you get this disassociation with them. Like, they know you're there, but after you're gone for so long, it's like, what are you doing here, And that's another theme in this movie, is like reintegrating in social circles. And PTSD comes in roles of that, like my father, but I'll add that on after I finish the plot of the movie. So anyway, Sam gets back. He's not dead. He's suffering extreme paranoia as a PTSD symptom. He's very distrusting, very stressed out, very frantic. Anything like loud noises or like sudden changes in atmosphere, like he's suffering like schizophrenic symptoms from PTSD. So he's like going insane. He comes home, crew cut, everything. And one of my favorite scenes when I watched it was, there's one where his daughter, his little girl, like 6 or 7, hates the idea of him being back home because she never like got close with him because he was gone. So she tells him at the dinner table that his wife slept with his brother. Loses everything, like, dude, throwing things across the kitchen. It's very tugging at the heartstrings. But he doesn't trust her. He's like already going insane, let alone his brothers all of a sudden here, and like they didn't welcome him back warmly into the home. It's like, thought you were dead. So after all this plays out, he ends up getting put into a hospital, like a psych ward. They labeled him as clinically crazy, like PTSD, schizophrenic, like, we're sending you away. And that's how that ends. Honestly, I enjoy like the suspense in the movie. But yeah, concerning PTSD, my father had 2 TBIs. He served in Afghanistan and Iraq. So he was on the first deployment there. Wasn't told he could leave. He was there until they wanted to go to Iraq, and he came home for, I think, a few months. And my father, he is very bad in social circles because his PTSD is like stressed about all situations. So he can't stand not being aware and conscious, and like in his head, he's like still kind of like out there. Like, he doesn't do good with people, hates crowded areas, always has to sit right by the door, corners of rooms, very quiet, very not involved, disassociated with his surroundings due to his PTSD. And that really affects him in the aspect of like community, like involvement, and like things like that my dad will never partake in now, because like he genuinely just can't do it. Personally, as his kid, I haven't heard some of the terrible things. Like, I know he used to have nightmares, and he's on medication from the army for things, but my mother told me, like, my dad, like, he is still torn apart, and like that was almost like 15 years ago. Things he's seen and witnessed will just stick with him for the rest of his life. And I don't think, personally, I almost joined the Army before going to college. PTSD wasn't something they talk about when you're gonna, sign on. Like, you want to be an infantryman, like, you want to be out there. They don't talk about, like, actually seeing people die or killing people, or what are the results of that. But yes, that's my public service statement on PTSD. And the movie Brothers, I highly recommend it if anybody loves a good tug at the heartstrings movie.